welcome back to another issue of the KB article. We have a very special guest with us today, Rachell DiFonzo, by Designs by DiFonzo, correct? So, and then also my business partner Chad here, and I'm Kyle Kinsler. So, welcome everybody to be here today. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good, good. So, but anyways, we try to
Um,
optimize the growth
I'm
and the
good.
financial. What's that? Your game?
I said
You
I'm
ready to
good. Yeah, I'm
go?
ready to go.
All right, but it was here at Kinsler Brown Companies and part of the KB article. We do try to optimize the growth and the financial well being of our listeners and our clients here. And Rochelle, she's got a story that that goes back a few years, and she kind of caught my eye about 5 6 years ago. I can't remember when I first introduced you. It was a networking event or something like that. But what Rochelle was doing is that she was starting a company. She was going out on her own, and she had a great idea. And and we had. I remember we had coffee one time, and I said, "Man, I just love the idea so much, of what it was." And you've done some good things for us, and you continue to do that. But tell us a little bit about your background, Rochelle, and your organization and such like that. And what is it that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm born and raised in Omaha. Love living here. So I went to school in Millard. I went to college at UNO. I had to pay my own way through college, so I worked at Sprint for over 8 years because they gave me tuition reimbursement. That's one of the smartest things I did, was not
Right.
carry that student debt. Then I landed my dream job at the time at ConAgra. So I was a supply chain analyst at ConAgra for the Walmart team. So that was really good experience. I thought I'd retire there. I loved ConAgra. When they exited Omaha, they laid off 4,000 people when they moved to Chicago. And then I was acquired by Treehouse Foods with 280 of my best friends. We
Hmm.
worked there 2 years, and then they exited Omaha. So I was getting laid off. My husband, he's been laid off twice since college, and he is in accounting. And he's worked for smaller private firms. So I went to him and I said, I don't believe that I'll get where I deserve to be if I don't try to start my own company. Um, so when I started at ConAgra, my boss said, if you could do anything, what would you do? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a trust fund baby. I've literally never thought of it at that time. But my favorite thing is to host parties. So if my friends would have a baby shower, a wedding shower, or a birthday, I'm a sucker for a theme. And so I really, that's what I enjoy.
You're just good at that. You're just
I,
passionate about
I've
that.
proven myself I am, I guess. So, um,
Right. No, and I
so
want to touch base on just a second there because I was in the same element. When I went to work for Mutual of Omaha 30 years ago, and it was my dream job, and it was the best. It was the fantastic company. But after 10 years and all those layoffs that were coming around, it was just like, how are we going to navigate this thing? And how are you going to be able to get to what you're worth 20, 30 years from now when we're going to retire? And it's kind of the same story, type of thing. So you've got to navigate that. And it's hard to do in today's climate. So but anyways, yeah, so you've been doing this for 5 6 years now. So kind of, yeah, tell us how that all started then, from the
yeah.
beginning then.
So
Yeah.
then when I decided to start my company, I had about 6 months before I got laid off. So that was really nice because I had time to get my LLC, start a logo. I went to UNO, the University of Nebraska Omaha. They'll help you do a business plan for free. Unfortunately, I had like 10 business plans. I didn't really know exactly. So that's why I started a celebration company because then I could pivot. So I ended up doing a fellowship at the Startup Collaborative through the Omaha Chamber of Commerce. And that's a program created by founders for founders to radically improve the odds of startup success because most startups fail. So I have my accountant, my lawyer, my insurance, and then they really helped me with my mission statement and my business plan and things like that. So what we do today is we do gift curation and event planning for employee appreciation, client appreciation, referrals, prospecting friends and family. So pretty much everyone. We usually curate it based on budget and occasion. So employee appreciation, every employee takes a survey so we know all their favorite things. Most employers gift them for their work anniversary and their birthday. So we just cure it based on that budget and their answers. And then we just make sure the month before it's still correct. And then we bill you at the end of the month. So it's really simple and people get things that they actually appreciate and use. And with client appreciation, it's building those relationships, keeping you top of mind, building that trust. And from there, the retention and referrals, they take care of themselves. So if you imagine it combines giftology with consumer behavior to create the ultimate word of mouth marketing, which is when I went to school for marketing, which is the most efficient marketing is word of mouth, but it's tenfold in Omaha because everyone knows everyone. So I really just focused locally. When I was starting my business, it was about my brand and my reputation. Because if you don't have that, it's probably really hard to grow. So just slow, steady growth. And it's been fun, challenging for sure.
And you do ship. We found that out.
We do ship.
Did you ship some stuff for us?
We did.
We did. Okay, so we included our team down in Florida or whatever down there. So that was nice. I didn't want to leave them left out and stuff.
Yeah, we
like
did
that.
tax survival kits.
Right, tax survival kits. So about a month before the end of tax season, we were like, everybody's just dragging their knuckles on the ground and barely getting by or whatever. So we got to do something for them. And we typically, we try to do something and give them an attaboy, or we give them cash money or a gift card or whatever it is. But I think by doing what you do, Rachell, and giving them gifts, and maybe you can describe the gifts a little bit more in detail, because I think I was probably one of the first people to probably the first 100 or 200 that used you, because I was just like, I never know what to get my mom. I always have a hard time. And I think Rachell and we went back probably 3 or 4 or 5 times, and she was like, what about this? What about, she's just, man alive. And she's just put so much thought and energy into making that perfect gift basket or box for my mother. And that was fabulous. And so, but anyways, yeah, we did this for our tax clients here, or not tax clients, but our employees this last year, to kind of give them that extra little push to go through to the tax season, and they absolutely loved it. So it's so much better than giving them money or whatever it may be. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I love it. Let me jump in here real quick. Question. So most of your clients are you work with business owners mostly? Businesses and ownership teams, or do you do a lot of stuff with individuals?
Both. I think anyone that is sales based or commission based really gets the most value out of it. A lot of people do referral gifts because that's your free sales force. If you're not acknowledging those people and someone else does, then you just lost them. And salespeople are expensive.
No,
For a lot of our clients, we look at maximizing their budget for the year. So you have different tiers of clients. So we try to hit them once a quarter. One of that is just a birthday card. So simple stuff like that. But it's very strategic based on your industry and your needs and your clientele, which is really great because it works and I can charge more. But at the same time, I'm unable to grow the way I want to because I haven't maximized how to do that yet, the efficiency of it and how to.
No, I can see from relationships are everything, right? Is relationships with your employees, relationships with your clients, and in turn their relationship with you, right? It's not just an employee, employer, client, service provider. It's real. So the problem is, I think, especially in the small business world, and I'll speak for myself, and Kyle's better at it than I am, but as a small business owner, you're so wrapped up in everything that you can't do everything. And I always catch myself saying, I should have done this. I should be better at wishing people happy birthday. I should be better because I have another business, and my team always emails me when, hey, it's somebody's birthday. Can you email them and say happy birthday, and can we buy lunch? Right? That seems sort of. And I say yes, and I call them typically, but I shouldn't need a reminder. But anyway, it could go through the cracks unless I had somebody there holding me accountable and actually doing it for me. That's what you do. And you mentioned something earlier. Simple, right? if we can simplify everything as a business owner or someone that's got a lot of fires burning at the same time and accomplish more, wouldn't we want to do it? And I can see tremendous value add here. And I'm excited because we're going to talk more because we're bringing on more business clients and stuff like that. But do you find that the reason people bring you in is just because they really stink at remembering to do it?
Well, there's 3 solutions that my business solves for problems that we went through at the start of Collaborative, because I had to do a ton of interviews to make sure that I had a solution for people's needs. So one of them is they don't have time. They have the best intentions, but if you don't follow through, then it doesn't really matter to the client because they have no idea that you're thinking of them. It saves people etiquette. Some people are very uncomfortable. They don't know what to give. A lot of people want to give wine. And I'm like, well, what kind of wine? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, do you even know if they drink? Because you can easily offend someone and they'll remember and they'll tell people. So it can really go both ways if you're not sure what you're doing. And the other thing, so not having to remember. A lot of my clients were already giving gifts, but they can outsource it at the exact same budget and get a better value. Number one, I'm getting most things wholesale. So you're paying for my time. So we charge $30 an hour, whether it's for our event services or different projects we do. So if you're making more than $30 an hour at your position and you're not outsourcing it and doing something only you can do, then you're not maximizing your time.
You're not being efficient, right?
Yeah,
Your time.
And you're missing opportunities that other people are paying attention to. And that's coaching my clients as well. Ask questions to your clients and your employees. People like to talk about themselves.
Right.
So if you have a client that says, oh, I love gardening or I love Scotch, and you say, well, what kind? What do you garden? And then you put that in their little file and then a milestone happens, they'll never forget. People do not forget, good or bad. And they'll tell 20 of their best friends.
Right. Yeah, you brought up another great point. I mean, if you are paying $30 for something and you make more than $30, it makes sense, right? That's simple math. But most small business owners are in the weeds and want to do everything and take control. That's me.
Yeah,
I'm getting better, right?
I am them.
Yeah, you probably see it every day. I mean, get out of your own way. But that's a valid point that, whether you're looking to do gifts or you're looking to solve other problems in your business. I'm working through this process as we speak. After we get off this call, I have another training call with the team to bring in so I can specifically delegate 75% of my work that's on my plate right now. So it's the same thing. So all of the small business owner listeners or entrepreneurs out there, don't be afraid to invest $1, to get 10x return on it, and have someone like Rachell doing this very important relationship nurturing service. And whatever it is, get out of your own way and simplify your life so you can produce more and bring in the experts to do what they do. And so it's I think it's a no-brainer for us in terms of what we're building and what we're doing, both from our employee side and our business client side, for sure.
Right. I was just thinking myself. So our administrator in our own organization, and who she is, and my wife Terry, and I think you've met her before, Rachell, but but she always brings up about the birthday thing. We're always doing something birthday or what it may be. But she enjoys that part of her job. But what if we were to take that away, and so you don't have to worry about that, and these things that they're coming up, and because they can be doing other things, but, so they get a gift, and it really frees up your time, and we can still recognize that, but it's like what Rachell has. She has that personal touch that she's able to do. She really gets down really into the nitty gritty of who your client is and what are their likes and this and that. So that's great. And I see you a lot out there in your networking. I guess that's how I kind of kept in touch with you since the beginning of this. Since Rachell, this is congratulations that you just went over on I did miss your party that you had. I had all good intentions of being there. I wanted to be there. And then it was just like one of those nights to where it was like, there's no way that can happen. I can't be there, but I'm sorry about missing that. I'll be there on your 10th. I promise.
You should send a gift.
I should have. But anyways, I see you out there. You're on LinkedIn. You're on Facebook. You're always in front. I mean, if it's not every day, it's like every other day. You got something that's going on, and you have an apprentice.
That's my intern.
You have your intern or your apprentice. Yes, yes. So she's out there a lot, and she's all of what? How old?
Yeah, so my daughter's 7.
She's 7.
So she's actually at the age she's able to help rafts, and
right.
She's home with me for the summer and spring break and everything. So she'll do some deliveries and things that she can do, but my parents help a lot.
Yeah. And you can put her on payroll here. You can put her on payroll too. So
we have her IRA thing and all the things to set her up for success. Hopefully one day she can just buy Details by DiFonzo from her mother, and I'll just travel the world.
That'd be awesome.
Good to me.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on something kind of out of the aspect of what you do, but really, you've referred to it a couple of times. You were forced to make a decision, right, to go into business for yourself, but you had the wherewithal to find the right resources. You Startup Collective, and I'm familiar with that group. So many of us as business owners jump in with both feet. Unfortunately, they got concrete on both feet and kind of sink because you don't know where to start, right? And that's why most businesses fail. I almost did because I went in, thought I knew everything. As an accountant, CPA, and in the tax business, and we were just in the people business. We just happened to do taxes. What kind of motivated you, or how did you know to, hey, let me align with the Startup Collective. Let me get some mentors. Let me get into networking. What provided you that mindset, or at least knowing that you have to start there and test things out, and your vision, your culture, what your core values, all of those things?
I think the biggest thing is just having a passion about what I do, because on the days I want to quit, that's what gets me through. So I like to tell people a story that I have. It's called The Cupboard. So I was born in Council Bluffs to a single mom. She worked at Pizza Hut. I had an 8-year-old brother. We were broke. So we lived with my grandparents the first early years of my life, when your brain's just like spewing and figuring everything out. But we would volunteer at a place called The Cupboard. And it's a place you can get 6 items every 60 days that food stamps don't cover. So like diapers was the biggest need. But before we would volunteer, we'd go to garage sales and we'd get hats, mittens, gloves, toys, stuffed animals. So my job as a child was to give the gift to the other children there, because they didn't have babysitters. And these kids aren't getting gifts. They're missing meals. So just to see the gratitude in their eyes that this quarter stuffed animal, it really made their day. So for us, we're Midwestern values. It's not necessarily always about the gift itself. It's about the experience. And that's part of our strategy. All our gifts are wrapped with bows or shine quality, because half the experience is wondering what it is and who it's from. So it's magical to me. So my grandmother, my great grandmother who helped raise me, they didn't get to go to college. They didn't have a driver's license. They were there to cook, clean, be a mom, be a wife. And so it's so cool for me that I get to show my daughter, you can do whatever you want to do. Not everyone's going to succeed. Luck is a factor in a lot of this, being an entrepreneur. So it's just really cool to see that I'm creating these things for people, and I'm creating these experiences, and she's seeing all that.
Yeah.
And
that's a great story. I love it.
Yeah, and she's identifying how hard her mom works on each day, and she gets to contribute to that, and other kids, they need to see it, or what it may be, So no, that's absolutely great. One thing you wanted to focus on here is your customer service, Rachell, and I've had firsthand knowledge of what your customer service is like. But what's kind of your take on that when it means going above and beyond for a customer, or where do you draw the line, or just what's some good advice that you can give us about customer service altogether?
Absolutely. So what I help people do is differentiate themselves, no matter in their industry. So that's what I do for them. But customer service is another way that not enough people are differentiating themselves. I mean, I'm on social media a lot, like you talked about. I get a lot of referrals from social media.
You're in front of people.
Yeah, and the expectation is they want to reply within 15 minutes or they're already gone to someone else. And I know people that don't respond. And the first thing I do is I message them. It's just being there for people. And, you know, we've made mistakes. Thankfully, not a ton because we represent your brand and your reputation. But we always say, here's what happened. Here's how we're going to fix it. It's really being accountable and making sure that you're putting them first no matter what. And we all know it's always cheaper to retain customers than get new customers. I mean, all the science and facts are there. But I think it's something that people, they miss. A handwritten note goes a very long way. It doesn't cost very much time. It doesn't cost very much money. Not enough people are doing those things. And the people that are standing out. So Giftology is a book, if anyone wants to read it, that kind of explains some of what I do. But
you're a giftologist, aren't you? You're a giftologist, I noticed.
I am. I'm a professional celebrationist. I am all of the things. If you pay me, I'll be it.
And
it's fun.
No, and it's very good. And we try to really portray that in our own organization as well. I mean, there's a lot of tax and accounting and bookkeeping services out there. Just, you know, there's not as many like what you do there, Rachell. But if you're ever going to set yourself aside or be different from another guy or another outfit that's out there, what is it the one thing that you do that's going to make you different than everybody else? What is that above and beyond that we did? I mean, sure, people, they come in and they get their taxes done at one of our retail locations or whatever it was. But when they leave, did they get something beyond a transaction? When they left, did they get something to say, hey, I'm going to tell my friends about it? If they leave, they know that they're coming back next year. And it's not just getting the transaction. It's not just getting that work done, but what is it that's going to propel your business forward? And that's where that exceptionalism comes in, and just providing that exceptional customer service and, you know, what that is. And I think a lot of times, a lot of businesses, probably about 80% of them kind of leave that on the table. And it's just like, and it's almost like because unemployment being the way that it is that, you know, we're almost thanking them for servicing us like we owed them to service us. And that's the wrong mindset to have. It's just, you know, I mean, it's something very valuable going forward there. Now you're also in sales and marketing and the networking and that type of thing. What would you tell a new person that's going out there that's trying to get into business and as far as their networking and marketing goes? And I've had some great experiences, but I'm sure you're kind of all over the place, and in a good way, not in a bad way. But you talk to a lot of people all the time, and I know that. So, how could you help us with our audience?
Yeah. So when I decided to start my company, I went to the successful entrepreneurs that I knew, and I asked them the exact same question you asked me. And one of them was networking. You know, you've heard the saying, build it and they will come. Well, no, they won't if they don't know you exist.
Right.
So networking is huge because, once again, that's my other free sales force, because I help them succeed and they want to help their network succeed. It's a ripple effect. But it's been very important. I'm in a lot of different networking groups, which is easier for me just because I don't have direct competition in these networking groups. There's a lot of overlap with other companies. I have plenty of competition, but I feel like I get to be in some of the best groups. So when I first started networking, I found a guy that was everywhere, who actually became one of my first clients that has given you gifts, Kyle. But I was like, I'm going to follow this guy. He seems to know what he's doing. Everyone knows him. Like he knows what he's doing. And I found other people that he knew, that they knew what they were doing. You know, so I saved a lot of time in just blank networking. I was very intentional of how who should I know and why, not just who wants to have a coffee. And I've never prospect ever in 5 years, and I don't have a sales pitch. I just educate people about what I do, and they ask questions. I feel like a lot of people, I'll tell them what I do all day, and I hope they do it and they become so successful that they have to outsource it to me because they're just better now, and they don't have the time because they're making so many sales. So networking has been huge for me. It's always worth it. One fee per group, the transaction, 1 or 2 covers it. But it's also, my 5-year anniversary party. I had built-in bartenders, I had built-in greeters. They're there to support you in other ways. There's plenty of people that I'll never exchange business with. It's just not something that our paths have crossed, but I know the people to send them to. And a referral, they're 95% likely just to use you because they already trust you. You're already vetted. They just need to make sure it's right after reaching out to you. So it saves you a lot of time. Most of my growth is direct referrals, organic growth. So I'm actually looking at prospecting for the first time, and it's really weird.
No, I love what you said about networking. And like I kind of alluded to earlier, I've done everything in business wrong, I think, in the past. But you said intentional. You were intentional, and you ran into a gentleman who looked like he knew what he was doing, and you follow people that you want to emulate, right? And it makes it easier. I didn't realize that. I would go to networking things when I was back at the CPA firm or young in business when I first started, and it was investment bankers, it was financial advisors, it was, and you just hand a card, have a few drinks, go home. There was no intentionality behind my efforts. And, lately I've connected more in its national mastermind groups that I'm in and networking more nationally than local, which is something I need to get back into. It's very intentional, right? But you're not out there prospecting. You're out there giving value, creating relationships, supporting each other, answering questions in the groups, right? In the community that we have set up. And if you do that, people are going to know, like, and trust you. And then should a need arise, they're going to come to you, right? So many times we get in for the wrong reasons. We go networking and we try to go out there and sell as much as we can at the event or talk people into doing business with us. But ultimately, get to know people, build relationships.
Right.
It might not be as quick as the heavy hitting sales, but over time, that network is gonna build your business for you.
Yeah, and
right?
you're gonna
treat them right and give them
right,
value.
and you're gonna build up your business organically through the people that you know, and those people that you know and people are gonna buy from people that they like, know, and trust as well, and they're gonna be more apt to come to you. But it doesn't happen overnight, and I think that's what kind of steers me away from. Maybe it's LinkedIn so much. It seems like it's always so. I mean, it's like, okay, we connected. Now you need to buy something from me. Check this out, type of thing. You never get time to know people, type of thing. So it goes.
You got to
so
go
much-
in and comment and read their stuff and engage with their stuff and do that. It's work.
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, we look at social media and saying, I see somebody that needs something, I go out and pitch them. No, it's work. I mean, you post 80 to 90% about your personal life, and you're petting your dog and hugging your kids and going fishing and skiing and whatever, and 10% business, right? And people are attracted to that. What, Rachell, are 2 key things that you would tell any entrepreneur? Maybe there's someone listening. We have a lot of entrepreneurs, folks that work inside of businesses that are very prominent and looking to maybe start that entrepreneurial journey. We got folks that are just starting the game of entrepreneurship. What's two key components that you would say, whatever business it is, that you would recommend they do to lead to their success or have a bigger impact on their success when they're starting out?
Learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to make them, because every mistake you make will cost you money.
Right. You'd rather not make them if you don't have to, right? I mean, they say mistakes are a wise person's knowledge, but at the same time, you don't want to try to make them if you don't have to, So,
Yeah.
right.
And then just try to surround yourself with people that are more successful than you. One of my favorite networking groups, you know, they have lake houses and wine cellars, and that's not something that I even want, but it's something that I haven't achieved. I just want to travel. Like,
Right.
I
noticed you have
that
the
costs a lot of money. You know, but we have so many outside speakers. Pretty much the group's been together 25, 30 years. I'm one of the newest people, and they don't do presentations about their own businesses unless something's new in the industry. We like to learn about the community, and we do a lot of giving back. So I think finding people that are been doing this a lot longer than you, that you can have as mentors and advocates. And I have a lot of those mentors and advocates that have never given me any sales, but they've given me free advice from a lawyer, which doesn't exist, things like that. My web developer did my website very inexpensively just because I did my own. He said, "This looks awful. Let me help you." That was through an introduction. If someone would have introduced me, he believed in me because he saw the value and he saw, hey, I think she might make it. And if she does, she'll continue to pay me yearly. You know, she'll do e-commerce and all these things. So, I mean, it's all in our own best interest, but it's really so many people have helped me along the way. So I'm always happy to sit down with people. I'll tell you what I do all day. People are like, well, aren't you scared people are going to steal your ideas? And I'm like, no, it's the internet. I steal ideas all the time. Right. But if you can steal my clients, then I have a problem. Right. Then I have a money problem, a customer service problem. Could be many things, but I don't worry about that. I just worry about keeping my clients. If they're growing, I'm growing. If they're not growing, then I'm not helping them.
Right.
That's good. Good stuff. Where can folks find you, Rachell?
So Details by DiFonzo. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Rachell DiFonzo. I have a website. Most people don't go to it, except for SEO people that want to sell me SEO from other countries. Like I said, most of it's word of mouth. So I'm happy to do one-on-ones anytime.
Yes, and I would say if you've got some needs out there for your business, and you know that you want to give gifts to employees, to clients, what it may be, just think of the value that has, especially if you're in a business that you might have a sale that's say $300,000, $500,000, $2,000 sales, what kind of business that you're in, and it's something maybe they're not an immediate client of yours, but that's where Rachell can come around and make sure that she provides them something that's meaningful from you, from your business. And that $30, $40, $50 gift or whatever can turn into $1,000, $2,000. And then it just starts to have that ripple effect to it. And then one of the best things of it all is that it releases your time from having to do that, about being always trying to be so intentional. I mean, we would like to where we could just be thoughtful all the time and stop what we're doing and give people gifts like what we would like to do if we had the time and the energy to do that. And that's where you can farm that out to Rachell. And she does an amazing job of doing that. So thank you very much. We've been trying to get Rachell on this call for a long time. We'd love to have you back and kind of see how things are going. Congratulations again on your anniversary. Being in business over 5 years, you're doing it. You're really doing it. And we're all rooting for you. And if there's anything that we can do to help you out, by all means, do reach out. So with that, I think we're going to close, guys. So
yeah, good stuff.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much.